9440. 4405. 9440. 1905.
All right, welcome back, crime fighters. Time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up some bad guys. I'm Chris Wright, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Matthew Wade. Good to see you, Sheriff.
Always good to be on the show, Chris.
And every week we come in here and we talk about some people that we need some help finding, and every week our viewers help us find some of them.
They've never let us down. I'm so proud of them. Count this week goes up to 4,562 people put in jail, all because somebody was willing to help us. 2 arrests this week. Once again, you've never let us down, and we're thankful for that.
So we'll have the first half of this week's lineup coming up in just a minute. Real quick, we just got through with a record-setting cool weekend. Anniston had a record low Mother's Day morning, but we're starting to warm back up. I think we've had the last cold spell, warm weather now, and that's going to be great in lots of ways. It's also going to create a few headaches.
It is, you know, one of the all-time favorite places for kids to go swim in Calhoun County is out in White Plains at the watersheds. Well, that watershed is owned by the City of Anniston's Waterworks, and they allow people to fish with a permit. You have to go to this Waterworks office in Anniston and pay $2, I think, to get a permit. Without a permit, you can't be out there, and they do not allow swimming, which is what most people go out there for. There's no camping. We've had people camp out there, so deputies are routinely patrolling that area, and there's some people that live by there that call us whenever they see a gathering out there. I know that a lot of people over the years have probably swam out there and called it a time-true tradition, but that land is actually owned by the City of Anniston, and they prohibit all of that. And
they do that for a reason.
They do it for a reason. It's for safety reasons, and so they are really pushing for us to make sure nobody is swimming out there or camping out there, and we're doing that. So whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not, it's owned by them, and that's what they want.
Yeah, they get to make the rules.
They get to make the rules.
All right. Well, we want to talk about some more things going on here in Calhoun County. It's a constantly changing situation these days, so we need to get updated on the latest, and we will have the first half of this week's lineup coming up next here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
There are many ways that your identity can be stolen. One way is probably the most simple and most alarming. That is by stealing your mail. Your mail can contain bank statements, investment notices, real estate or car titles, Social Security and medical information, and so much more. By piecing this information together, a thief can do many different things that will affect you in a negative way. You can also become a victim of financial fraud. The Postal Service is helping to fight these crimes by offering informed delivery. You can register for this free service on the postal website, usps.com. By signing up for informed delivery, you can go to the Postal Service website daily and see all of your mail that is to be delivered for that day. You can be aware of what your mail carrier will bring and know if anything is missing. You can also invest in a locking mailbox for your residence, or you can even rent a post office box to secure your mail. For more information, you can go to usps.com or call me, Nancy Hilton, at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, 256-236-6600.
Identity theft happens. It's an unfortunate fact of modern life. But there are certain steps you can take to help keep your personal information from falling into the wrong hands. Every day you do things to protect what's most important to you. And you know what? You do them almost automatically. Routine things like looking both ways before you cross, brushing your teeth, and buckling your seatbelt. Another routine to get into is keeping tabs on your identity and personal information. Here are 5 easy ways you can do it. Read your credit card and bank statements carefully and often. Know your payment due dates. If a bill doesn't show up when you expect it, look into it. Read the statements from your health insurance plan. Make sure the claims paid match the care you got. Shred any documents with personal and financial information. Review each of your 3 credit reports at least once a year. It's easy and it's free. And before you know it, protecting your personal information can be as routine as locking your doors at night. For more tips and tools on dealing with identity theft, visit ftc.gov/ID theft. That's ftc.gov/ID theft.
All right, let's get started with this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. If you recognize somebody and have information about where we can find them, please let us know. Jonathan Ledbetter of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. Tyrone Jordan of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance. William Bannister of Oxford wanted for 3 counts of violating the Sex Offender Registration Notification Act. Charisma Holloway of Heflin wanted on a probation violation for 3rd-degree robbery. Jerry Dix of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for the Sex Offender Registration Notification Act. And Margaret Bates of Birmingham wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of property, 2nd degree. If you have information about any of these cases, please call us at 256-238-1414. All right, we are back, and we'll have the second half of this week's lineup coming up in just a little bit. Sheriff, I didn't mention it, but your hair's looking good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the loose restrictions sure was nice to get a haircut. It felt good coming out of there. I'm not going to lie, it sure did.
A lot of folks getting some long hair, and still are at this point. They haven't had a chance to cut everybody's hair.
That's right. You know, I was lucky, and when she lifted the restrictions, I found somebody to cut my hair, and I've never felt so good, you know, and I appreciate those people, and I know they've had it rough, particularly, and I wanted to make sure I spent some money with them.
I haven't had a chance to go get my mani-pedi yet, but...
No, I'm a fan of those too. I hadn't had one of those yet, but...
I haven't had one yet in over 50 years, but... But there are some things that we can do that we weren't able to do just a week ago, and how's Calhoun County doing so far?
We're doing good. You know, I think we're right under 120 cases from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So those numbers can be deceiving at some point. You know, they say we've had 120 cases in Calhoun County. Well, we don't have 120 active cases. You know, I see those numbers, and you know, we have, out of the 120 active cases we got a small number that are actually sick right now. The majority of them have recovered.
Yeah.
And they're living life, and they're doing great, and they're not contagious anymore. So we don't talk about that enough, in my opinion, that out of these 120, we don't have 120 sick people. We have had 120 people who we know who've had the virus.
And of course, there are also some people that probably had it and
we never
knew about it. So the numbers can be misleading in a lot of ways, but the fact of the matter is Calhoun County, whether it's from our good actions or luck or whatever, we have not at this point been hit as hard as some other areas have been.
At this point, we haven't. It's a virus. We don't know where it's at, so we still have to take those precautions. But you know, we're doing good. You know, and those 6 feet apart, washing your hands, covering your sneezes. If you're sick, don't go anywhere. Those things have worked. You know, and the real reason why our government did these actions wasn't to try to eradicate a virus, because you can't eradicate it. It's here. It's a virus. What they did was try to make sure our hospitals and our health organizations weren't overrun and not able to treat the people who get sick from it. We've done that. That is a success. Yeah. You know, so our hospitals are able to take care of those who do get sick, and we all have our personal responsibility to take care of ourselves. You know, when you see people out on social media upset about somebody wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, and vice versa, you know, all of that is for naught. It's my personal responsibility to take care of me, and it's your personal responsibility to take care of you. And everybody sees those actions as a little bit different. We're all Americans. You got to do what you think's right to take care of yourself. So,
yeah, and I don't want to get on a high horse and vent too much here, but I've actually seen, you know, now we've got restaurants that are legally allowed to reopen their dining rooms, and some of them have decided that for the safety of their employees and their customers, they're not ready to do that yet. And some people are actually getting angry at the restaurants for not reopening and opening their dining rooms. Come on, people, they're making a decision that they think is in the best interest of their employees and customers.
Absolutely. And once again, this is America. You know, we're the land of the free, home of the brave. Everybody gets a choice here, you know, and I guarantee you that any business that decides not to open up, it's not helping their pocketbook. Yesterday I did go out. I went and ate in a restaurant, and we went to one and it was closed. I wanted to go to another one. I'll be honest with you, going and sitting down in a restaurant is so enjoyable to me. You can tell by looking at me. But it's one of the great things that I really love to do. Plus, these restaurants. We went to a locally owned restaurant that wasn't a big chain. They need our money too, but went to a locally owned restaurant and sat down, and all the servers had masks on. I didn't feel threatened whatsoever, and we enjoyed a meal, and we gave them a nice tip, and we went about our business. And I'd been looking forward to that for a long time. But everybody has their own choice here in America. The virus isn't going anywhere. That's what people need to understand. This is a virus. It's like the flu. The flu's here all the time. We have vaccinations for it, and we've built up some immunities to it, and that's what we got to do for the coronavirus, because it's here. It's not going anywhere. Staying home for 8 weeks doesn't mean it's gone. It just means we flatten the curve for our.
There could be more peaks coming.
Could be some more peaks
But if we are
coming.
smart, if we do things wisely, and just simply doing a better job of washing our hands and not touching our face as much, things like that can help us prevent having that peak again. The more we do, the less likely it is that we'll have a peak and run into another big disaster.
Absolutely, and who knows what the future holds, but we have to live. We have to maybe do some things different, but people have to work. Everybody's job, you hear people about essential and non-essential. I would say everybody's essential in some way. It takes everybody for us to make this world go around that we enjoy and that we live. So we got to eat, we got to have money to pay our power bill, we got to have all of this stuff. So everybody's got to do their part to keep the economy going, so we can have food, so we can have power. So.
Last week you told us that the jail population had started to rise again. We got to take a break, but I want to find out how things are going now. When we come back, we'll also have the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, here we go with the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Shabrina Jason of Huntsville is wanted in Calhoun County on a failure to appear warrant for receiving stolen property, 4 counts. David Crane of Piedmont wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a forged instrument, possession of a controlled substance, theft of property, 3rd degree, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Donald Richardson of East Aboga is wanted on a probation violation for possession of a forged instrument, 2nd degree. Christopher Bobo of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for manufacture of a controlled substance. Matthew Franklin of Aniana is wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. Mary Cowlin of Childersburg is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of property, 4th degree. Devin Brooks of Piedmont wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of marijuana, 2nd degree. If you have information about any of these individuals, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. We want your information, not your name. All right, we are back. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will have the property crimes section of the show. We're going to talk about some recent crimes that have been committed in Calhoun County, and hopefully you can give us some information to help solve those crimes and maybe get somebody's merchandise back for them, their property back for them. We'll also have our crazy criminal of the week coming up. But Sheriff, last week you told us that the jail population had been shrinking for a while. We were at the lowest level it's been in a very long time.
Absolutely.
But as of last week, the numbers had started to rise again. Is that trend continuing?
No, I just checked. We're at 412 people. We have 2 facilities. The women's facility is, running around 70 or so. It's built for 110, so that's good. The male main facility has around 300 in it, so it's built for around 400. So we're at 412. That's still a real low number for us. Last week we were trending just under 400. We had gone up to 422 or so, then we're about 412 now, so it seems we're staying, kind of
plateaued.
If there's somebody that's a bad person that needs to be in jail because they're bad people, we want them to be there, but at the same time, if we can find other ways to keep our streets safe, then let's do that as well. 412 is a good number for us.
All right, so are we still virus-free as far as we know in the jail?
As far as we know, there's no coronavirus that's been in the jail for any of our employees or any of the inmates. Once again, at some point, it's probably going to happen. I mean, it's just inevitable.
And it has happened in other places in Alabama, and it's become a very serious problem in some places.
It has, but at the present, we don't have anybody that's have it. We've tested some people, we've quarantined some people, but one thing we have done is really, we gave every inmate a mask. We give all of our officers masks. We give them tons of, we give all the inmates cleaning supplies to include hand wipes, Clorox wipes. We give our employees that. We have we always cleaned, but we said we want to focus on cleaning and disinfecting and separation of people who we think might be sick versus trying to just focus on PPE such as gloves and masks and such. So we have some foggers and some other things, and we have really done a good job of cleaning, so much so that we have heard from inmates that we're doing really well on cleaning. When the inmates say you're doing a good job, then you know you really are doing a good job. So we're trying our best to keep it clean, and if we get one, we'll tell everybody we do, and we'll do what we got to do to take care of it.
And I'm sure you've been seeing what's going on in the other facilities where they have had cases confirmed and seeing how they react and what's working so that you can be prepared.
Absolutely. Talk to all the other sheriffs of Alabama. On a national level, we see, on the National Sheriff's Association, we see those lists come by. We've attended many webinars and trying to make sure we stay on top of it. You know, I've had some people, and I've said this numerous times, but I want to say it again. You know, we've had people say, you need to take care of those inmates. And that's, well, you know, the hashtag we're in this together, we really are in this together with the people that's in our jail. The inmates and the officers are all around each other all day long, so there's really no us and them. It's just us that's trying to keep everybody from getting sick. And so we're doing it for everybody.
And certainly a virus is not what we want to try to accomplish this, but there's always silver linings. And do you think that the inmates and corrections officers working together on this cleaning and such, do you think that's creating any more trust and cooperation? You
know, I don't know about if that's true or not, but I can tell you some things that I do know. Since this virus has hit and trending up, since we've had less of a population in jail, the inmates have been acting better when they're not overcrowded. They act better. And when they act better, that's less stress on the officers. So, and our officer ratio has gone up. We only have 2 open spots for corrections officers. And you say, well, 2 open spots, for us, that's huge. To say that we only have two job opportunities for corrections officers. And with the staff normalizing, and we're keeping them, and they have less of a stress because they're not overcrowded. It all goes together, and things are, you know, it's a jail. There's a lot of bad decision makers in a jail. Something bad could happen today, but things have really been looking up in that aspect as far as stabilization of our corrections officers. The lower populations made the inmates act better, so things are really coming together right now. It all matters. All those factors matter, and right now it's doing good. Like I said, it's full of people who've made bad decisions, and they could make a bad decision today. I hope they don't, but if they do, we'll handle it and fix it and go on. So. All
right. And you're still out there patrolling the community as always.
We've never stopped. I had somebody kind of get on me and, you know, do I have to wear a mask? Do I have to do this? What do I have to do? And I said, we've never cut any of our services. You know, it's our job, our personal responsibility to take care of ourselves, and it's their personal responsibility to take care of themselves. But the sheriff's office has never restricted any services that we've done. You call us, we come. You know, we're not going to restrict say we're not coming to a call. We come and we'll do whatever we can to help our citizens. I just feel it's very important for them to know their sheriff, because I am their sheriff. I'm everybody's sheriff. If they call me, we'll come. We'll do what we can to help them.
All right. We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the property crimes section of the show, see if you can help us out with some of these recent crimes. And we'll have our crazy criminal of the week as well. All right, let's see if you can help us out with some of these property crimes that happened recently in Calhoun County. On May 5th, a 16 by 6 foot utility trailer was stolen from a location on Highway 431 in Alexandria. On May 6th, a yard machine riding lawnmower and a Troy-built self-propelled mower were stolen from a business located on Highway 21 South in Oxford. Between May 5th and May 9th, a burglary occurred at a residence located on Old Chocolaca Road in Anniston. Between May 2nd and May 10th, a Husqvarna weed eater was stolen from a barn located on Alexandria Wellington Road. If you have information about any of these cases or other crimes committed in Calhoun County, please call 256-238-1414.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, so we're going to go across the pond for our crazy criminal of the week this week, Sheriff, to Harworth, England. A suspect trying to elude the police there, and he ran off and he hid behind a bush, right? He might have gotten away with it So, you know, one of the things they like to eat in England for breakfast, part of a full English breakfast, is your beans on toast, baked beans.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, he may or may not have had baked beans. I don't know for sure, but something caused his body to release some gas.
Flatulate.
Yes.
Flatulate.
So it was loud enough that the officer caught wind of what was going on. And
So he got arrested for farting without a permit. Is that what you're saying?
not exactly sure if that's what they
Okay.
charged him with or not, but yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to get you back. Yeah. Well, we'd have had to give him a few minutes to let that air out before we handcuffed him, okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
anyway, y'all stay safe. I don't know why he does this to me, because you think he tells me these things ahead of time, but he doesn't.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. If you missed part of the program, you can go to tv24.tv and go to the on-demand section, and you can see the entire show there. Or you can look for Calhoun County Most Wanted on YouTube and find the show there. Or make sure you follow us on Facebook, and we'll have the Most Wanted lineup and our property crimes posted there as well. And we'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.